Hmm. I don't know. Looks like that might be pitch. Yeah, I think it is. And what are these leads like? A little yucky. Well, that's what I got to work with. And this is what I need to replace. If I had some barrier strips or terminal strips or something, I could maybe put those in there. Just trying to see how really, truly flexible those leads were. Man, that one's got a long lead. That red lead's here and goes clear over here. It actually kind of zings around there. What's this rate? 150 volts. So I'm okay. These are 160 volt. Well, I don't know. I'm trying to think if I got any barrier strips. They're kind of a hot commodity. You don't see them much anymore. Well, this might be a good place to take a little pause and see what I come up with. I suppose a barrier strip would be appropriate. I could put those in a little tube. Might fit back in there. I don't know. I might try and heat that with a torch in the oven, see if I can get that to squish out of there. I wonder what that cap was. I don't know. Okay, well, I'm gonna put the old brakes on this here. And see what we can come up with. Okay, take her easy. Have a groovy day. Well, just for fun, I heated that cap with a torch real careful. And I was like, oh, apart. It slid apart after the pitch on the top. There's sort of a tube, kind of a liner. Here's the cap body. There's another liner there. That may actually have been part of the body, but yeah, you can see there's the actual cap. That's the negative lead. There's actually there are two caps there. That's kind of interesting. And there's a little plug in the bottom that I pulled out. I can just snap that back in there. It's not pretty, but you know, I can stick those caps back in there, wherever they went. And I could fill it up with some wax or glue or probably some wax. Won't hurt anything. But I could probably stick those side by side. Well, no, not side by side, but damn close. Yeah. I could get those in there and bring some leads out. Guess I could, if I find some, what was that, white, yellow. I don't know, it didn't take real kindly to me heating it. It's not perfect, but it's a lot less ugly than maybe just those caps in there, so I don't know. It's a thought. Maybe a little more tinkering around. And I guess if worse came to worse, I could put, I'd like to find some original colored leads. What is that wire? Is it braided or solid? Well, that actually looks solid. Solid cloth covered wire. Think. What to do, Well, I think we're gonna stop and do a little thinking about that. I don't know, that was in there, you know, kind of like that. You can see the actually the pinch marks have kind of come out of the thing. I guess it doesn't matter. Everybody knows what the value is. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something somewhat solid to put in there. I guess I could beef up that tube a little bit with some layers of cardboard, roll some layers of cardboard up and stiffen it up, and then fill it with something. Yeah, that might be the way to go. Granted, this isn't one of those cutesy restorations, but clamp. That clamp is damn springy. It's just pop rooted in there. Sometimes these caps, actually there was a series of these that were made, they were aftermarket replacement caps for this very problem. And they come, you know, pre-leaded, and they're like this. They actually have a little... They have a little metal clamp already on them, and you just, you know, drill that out, or drill a new hole. They're like Mallory's and Cornell Dubler's. This says General Electric, so this is a house part. I don't know what to do. Well, we'll slam on the brakes here, and a little thinking might be in order. Okay, be back. Well, I've decided to restuff this cap. What I've done here is taken two values, and I found some old cloth covered wire that's new. Let's hear it for Western Electric. I hooked the two commons together, the two negatives, and I twisted that over and then bent the ends over real careful. If you can see that. And the only colors I had were red and white and green is about as good as ground in my book as any, so I'm just gonna solder those together. Ah, dang it. Not cool. So we got those all bolted together. I've kind of staggered them a little bit to get them in that tube. Okay, just making sure they're soldered. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put that plug back in the bottom of that tube. And I'm just going to tuck those in there, and there's not a ton of room in there. Actually, I'm going to put just a little bit of cotton in there. See if I can wiggle that in there. Now what I'm probably going to do is take and I'm either going to fill that up with wax or hot melt glue or maybe some epoxy. It doesn't really matter. And just kind comb those wires out, and we'll be back when it gets done. Well, good day to you. Oh, a few little new developments have occurred. I kind of left off here. We were stuck with a buzzing radio and no voltmeter. And I had yet to have found the clip to my speaker end. Well, I found the clip. It was bounced onto the floor, and actually, I didn't necessarily find the clip. I noticed a cat playing with something on the floor, so upon further investigation, I discovered that she had found the clip. So, technically, I found the cat playing with the clip. I also found I did some snooping. I found a schematic that's somewhat similar. I believe this is a GE 535 clock radio, and it's a little different. It's a 6-tube lineup. It actually has an RF amp ahead of the converter, but the power supply and the clock radio part and some of the other goodies here are pretty close, and it uses that punchboard design, which tells me it must have been made somewhat similar. And here's a kind of a layout of that little substrate, that cap substrate or cap hybrid. And you can see they've got the 3 caps in there. Now, whether any of these are right or not, it's debatable, but it's kind of a good example that these radios are all a bit similar. There's a local oscillator coil. Looks a lot like that one. And actually, it has a little notch taken out of it. And if you look at this one, that one has a little notch taken out of it. So I'd say this is pretty darn close. Yeah, you know, it's not like they design new radios every year. I believe they design new cabinets. Well, the other thing we left off with was his cap was all buzzy and noisy, and I was kind of naughty and industrious. And you may have saw the edge of that video. I popped this thing apart. I heated that with a torch, shoved the guts out, and it's just 2 big caps stacked one on top of the other. There's the common right there, and there's the pitch. This is kind of a little paper wrapper that was wrapped around it. There's the back side, and there are the 2 leads. So I just shoved all that out. That left me with this little tube and this liner, or this little button. So I glued the button back down with a little bit of glue. I wrapped those 2 caps and put them back in there. I stuffed that full of just plain good old cotton. I figured that wouldn't hurt anything. And then I filled the top with some epoxy. Now, the leads aren't the correct color. The right colors were supposed to be, I think, red and black and yellow. Yeah. But red, white, and green are pretty close. I made green ground just for fun. And I don't know, it's good enough. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the pencil and mark where those leads go on the underside. And those 3 leads kind of snake through this thing. We'll just the yellow one went over here, and I'm just going to mark that. This pencil I can rub off, kind of bend that out of the way. And there's the black, and that goes over here. Those 2 are easily removed. The red, that's a different story. It kind of starts here. It actually goes clear over to here and wraps up and ends up there, where there's been some sort of a repair. Looks like somebody put this resistor, I think this is a 27 ohm resistor. This other schematic shows 22 ohms. So this connects the plate, or excuse me, this connects the cathode of the rectifier tube to the first stage of filtering, and then goes out and from there. So yeah, this is what this is, but it's been repaired. So I'm gonna have to get all that out of there and see if I can clean that up. And that wire just snakes around there, actually. We'll just start there, I guess. Just tug that out of there. It's actually a pretty long piece of that's solid, but it's actually cloth covered. Well, so that actually is up here, right there. So let's see here. It's actually long enough I can just grab a hold of the wire and just pull that baby off. There we go. And actually this cloth covered wire is kind of two pieces. If you look at this real careful, there's kind of a white inner, there we go, inner sort of jacket, and then this braided cloth is over the outside. And we'll just get the old bucket with that baby. Let's see. I'll just mark that one up here. Okay, so we need to get the there's the white wire, and there's the ground. These things are just basically kind of stiff and nasty. Oh, hang on a tick.